now tuned into Women of Power
Kea Simone,
with Kea Simone.
Kea Simone,
Never lose yourself trying to find someone else. Hey, Women of Power,
Kea Simone,
Women of Power,
Kea Simone,
Women of Power.
Kea Simone,
Never lose yourself trying to find someone else. Women of Power,
Kea Simone,
Women of Power,
Kea Simone,
Women of Power.
Kea Simone.
Never lose yourself trying to find someone else.
Woman with power, woman with power, say yeah, yeah. If you a woman with power, say yeah, yeah.
Hey, Women of Power,
Kea Simone,
Women of Power,
Kea Simone.
Women of Power.
Hey, hey, lovely people. It is your girl, Kea Simone. I am here tonight with a dramatic reading. Yes, I'll be reading a dramatic reading. I'll be reading from my book, From Pain to Love. My Heart Belongs to Him. So I'll be reading chapter 1, which is Kismet. Okay. What's the meaning of Kismet? Destiny, fate. So, do you see how strategic I was when I named the main character Destiny? Because chapter 1, it was, I forgot what the original title for chapter 1 was, but at the last minute, my editor called and was like, "Did you realize that you have 2 chapters with the same name? Let's rename chapter 1." So, okay, cool. Kismet, what better else than Kismet? So early in my life, Kismet was one of my favorite words because I used to believe in destiny, fate, thought things were just meant to be. But it's a little different now because God is over everything. So again, but I still named the first chapter Kismet. So I hope you have my book, From Pain to Love. My Heart Belongs to Him. You can get my book off of Amazon, Barnes and Noble. If you're just joining in, remember to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell. Show your girl some love. I'll go ahead and drop this intro once we do the housekeeping with the intro. Then I'll come back and I'll start with chapter 1, Kismet. So be right back with you guys. Hey, so I'm back. So let's just go ahead and jump in. If you have the copy of the book, you can go ahead and open up to chapter 1. I'll be reading the entire chapter 1, which is only 4 pages, but just to give you a little bit of what the book is about. I'll be coming on in the future, reading future other additional chapters, okay? After I finish reading, feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and we can just discuss about this chapter. So let's just have open Q&A after I finish. So just give me a minute to pull that chapter up. Thank you. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. Her mouth was moving, but I couldn't hear a thing coming out of it. I think I went temporarily deaf. I was there, but not really. As if the credits of a movie were rolling in front of me. I saw the names of all the guys I had been intimate with over the past 12 years. Chris, Tommy, the Dom, Zeke, the one-night stands with the guys whose names I could no longer recall. And David, of course. But which one? Miss Falls, Dr. Parker called out, raising her voice seemingly an octave or two. I looked up. I still could not muster the strength to speak. My jaw felt locked. A slow stream of tears cascaded down my cheeks, and a warm sensation escaped my ears. Is this what they call an out of body experience? Miss Falls, I know this is not the news you wanted to hear, but again, HIV isn't the death sentence it used to be. We've made a lot of advances in medicine, and people are leading normal lives today. Nothing Dr. Parker said to me could soothe the pain I felt in that moment. The heaviness in my chest felt as though someone had loaded 50 bricks on top of me. Now I know you have a lot of questions, and I'm prepared to answer them for you, she said as she tapped her pen on her desk. I need another minute, I managed to utter as I lifted my body and leaned back in the chair. Sure, take all the time you need, Dr. Parker said as she closed my file and laid it on her desk. Yes, I had a lot of questions, and although I just wanted to lament in my sorrow, I knew doing so wasn't going to provide me with the answers I needed. And neither were they going to do anything about the fact that a potentially deadly virus was now running through my veins. After I managed to compose myself somewhat, I straightened my posture in the chair. So, what now? Well, since I'm just your fertility specialist, you'll need to go to see both your primary care physician and an infectious disease specialist who's specifically trained to treat people with HIV and AIDS. I shook my head, still in utter shock and disbelief. Again, those haunting thoughts of being dirty, damaged goods began to race through my mind. Destiny had chlamydia. Destiny is infertile. Destiny has HIV. Here I was, only 35 years old, childless, basically parentless, and had been going back and forth with a man who had more faces than a Rubik's Cube. How am I going to recover from this? I just want to die. Destiny, listen. Having HIV doesn't mean you can't have a baby, Dr. Parker said. Can't HIV be transmitted to the baby during pregnancy? Risk of transmission is typically low, but there are a lot of things to consider. Like what? I said as I licked the salty savor from my lips. Well, well, we'll need to know what your numbers look. Numbers? What do you mean, numbers? I said, cutting her off. Your T cell count and your viral load. My eyebrows raised. I wasn't familiar with any of the medical terminology Dr. Parker was using. I know they don't mean anything to you now, but in a nutshell, they're just what the specialists look at to monitor the disease progression. So again, conceptually speaking, it's very possible to get pregnant and have a baby. With HIV, although the risk of transmission is low, it still exists. So it's something you will need to consider. So, what is your best advice for me? To not have a baby? I can't make that decision for you, Miss Falls. That's something you'll need to discuss with your husband and your infectious disease specialist. Dr. Parker went into a whole different spiel about living with HIV, but my mind could no longer absorb the volume of information she was sharing. In my head, I started rehearsing the conversations I knew I had to have with David, my best friend Shantae, with my deceased grandmother Honey at her gravesite, and most importantly, with God at home on my knees. When Dr. Parker finished, she asked again, do you have any more questions? Am I going to die? She paused and then tapped her pen on her desk once again before answering. It's probably unlikely, but it depends. It depends on how long you've had the virus, how much damage is done to your body, and if we can keep it from wreaking havoc on your body. And it also depends on your lifestyle, the choices of food, exercise, medication, compliance. There's a whole lot of other factors to consider. She paused again. Here, you'll probably need this, she said, handing me a business card she pulled from a box on her desk. I took the card and tucked it into my purse without reading it. Call her office and set up an appointment. She offers one on one counseling and she runs a very good support group. I pulled the card out of my purse and skimmed it. The wording read, Dr. Angela Fleming, MD, Psychiatry. I'm not crazy, I snapped. I got a disease, but I'm not crazy. Miss Falls, I understand that. No one said you were crazy, but I've been in practice long enough to have seen countless women sitting across from me just like you are today. These women leave my office refusing psychological care only to end up either committing suicide or living with severe depression. Don't let that be you. I looked at Dr. Parker. I could feel her genuine compassion, but it wasn't her compassion and empathy I was longing for at that moment. Sitting in Dr. Parker's office was the helpless little girl again, longing for the love, acceptance, and support from both her mother and father. Don't hesitate to call her if you need to talk. She also can prescribe medication to help you deal with this. The remaining 20 minutes or so of the appointment was a complete blur. All I remember is making it to my car in the parking lot of the doctor's office, getting in and slumping over the steering wheel. My life, by far, was never picturesque. I can even say, I can't even say I came from a broken home because right out the gate, my parents didn't want me. I ended up living with my grandmother, who I affectionately called Honey, as we all did in our family. I did some identity exploring in my days, but that's typical for a young woman who's just searching for love of her absent father. But I found myself on this day at an all time low. Finding my way through this maze would be one of the most difficult challenges I had to face. Finding out how I landed here would require deep analysis, a willingness to be emotionally transparent, and the demonstration of courage under fire. Exploring the distant past is a must. Is where it all began. Ta-da! So that was the reading. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. If you have any questions or concerns, I am here tonight to answer Q&A. If not, like I always tell you guys, I hit it and I quit it. I will leave. So again, I hope you enjoyed the dramatic reading. I will be coming back with more dramatic readings. It's been my pleasure to come to you. Just to let you know that chapter 1 is really near and dear. I wanted to come in and draw the reader in. I wanted the reader to really feel Destiny's pain, to understand that she just didn't hit rock bottom. There were some other factors, just to give you a little bit of her background. So I just hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to show some love, make sure you get a copy. And if you already have a copy for yourself, get a copy for someone else. This is a must read. It's basically a story of redemption for women. Until next time, peace.